Good morning. Hope you guys are doing great. I just want to vibe with you a minute about this concept in network marketing, or what we call relationship marketing. There's a concept, and they say basically the notion is that it's easier to give birth than it is to resurrect the dead. I'm getting a text, hold on. And so they say it's easier to give birth than it is to resurrect the dead. And I want to explain to you what that means. So around the products, what that means is if you are in relationship marketing and you have an offering, you have a product to offer people, they're basically saying that if an individual was to use the product, go off the product, then, you could kind of look at that as from the perspective of the person sharing that particular product with the customer. That's a casualty. That's not good. The person went off the product, and that means you got to try to go reactivate them, re-stimulate them, and that can be very difficult, very, very difficult, because oftentimes, well, it's just this unsaid thing. It's like you as the person who shared with them, you just can't help but wonder, like, why did they go off the product? They had great results or whatever, or maybe they didn't. Fine. But it's easier to go out and stimulate oftentimes a new customer than it is to resurrect an old one that is, not literally dead, but you follow my meaning or the logic behind that. And this is known industry-wide. Now, it's even harder to resurrect the dead in relation to people who got involved in the opportunity of sharing that product or service forward with others, and then for whatever reason they went dormant. Now, when we say dead in that context, it just means, it doesn't even mean that they stopped ordering. Oftentimes they keep ordering. Some of those people are earning income from that opportunity, and so they'll keep ordering, but they're dead in terms of their motivation. They're disenchanted, they're frustrated. And so, those people are really hard to get back going. They just kind of lie dormant for years. And I've seen this. I've seen it so much. Well, and in that context, it really is probably, oftentimes it's easier to just go find someone new, start afresh, new blood, feed the pipeline, if you will, fill the funnel, if you will, and start afresh with a brand new person and get that energy going and work with them than it is to go try to resurrect the dead. Okay. So here's what I'm finding that's really, really interesting. Shred is resurrecting the dead in both situations. It's actually getting people to go back on the product, which is very exciting, because oftentimes what happens is people get a result, and no matter how good the result, they lose interest. But in my case, I really wasn't getting the results I was hoping for with my products. I think I was physically. I think I looked fine, other than the bloat. Now, I take that back. Like, before Shred, I couldn't use a lot of the products. So with that in mind, like, the shakes would cause me bloat, the shakes would cause me gas, the shakes would sometimes give me diarrhea. And so in my case, how am I going to go out and enthusiastically and how am I going to go out with enthusiasm and share this with people and help people, which is my intention, to help people with their health, if I'm not only am I not feeling my best, the bloat, that doesn't look very pretty. And then on top of all that, I can't even eat my own products. So yeah, that's something to consider in my case. But what we're finding is that, now I can use the products, which is very exciting because of the elimination component coupled with the incubation component. Probably the reset overall really helps your body to begin working right again. So that's very exciting. And I'm seeing customers coming back like in the droves. I bet you we've reactivated over 500 customers already just in our little circle. That's not considering all these other teams that I've been working with and helping that I don't reap any kind of reward for or any kind of benefit from. I'm just doing it because I love the culture and I love the people. And, you know, and that's really is what's supposed to be the culture. The culture is supposed to be not people from different teams all pushing and trying to, you know, edge each other out and trying to be competitive and, you know, fighting amongst one another. It's not supposed to be like that. The culture is supposed to be, we all help each other. One of the things that I struggled with, and I want to just be open about it, is that to me, it felt like I have a way of doing things. The way that I operate, I personally have a way of doing things that is my style. It's unique to me. It's unique to my, how do you say, tutelage? The way that I was trained. My training is such that it's part of my genetics, it's part of my DNA now. It's just in there, and I'll pass that down to other people. What that looks like is we are so focused on the relationship. We're so focused on the result. And we fully believe that if we get people the wow factor, the aha moment, knock your socks off kind of a result, that we don't have to force feed people money. We don't have to be the ones to come out and say, you know, oh, hey, by the way, you know, there's an opportunity here if you share these products with other people, and you know, let me show you what that looks like. We actually believe that can happen naturally. And in my experience, it really can, and it really does. And so what is hard is when you try so hard to create that culture and you're so focused on your culture. You know, that's my job. See, I am an independent contractor. I'm an independent contractor, and anybody that, you know, gets involved with me and wants to do the opportunity, ER shred, share it with people, generate income, they're independent contractors. Well, with that in mind, we have the liberty, as long as we're not breaking any rules, as long as we're not violating any of the policies and procedures and legal and so forth, not making any claims, we have the right to do things as we see fit, as we desire. Now, where it gets hard, this is me being completely authentic and open and honest. Where it gets hard is when I have a way of doing things, we have a way of doing things, and we feel it's very effective, we feel it's very fulfilling, we like the way we operate. But when you go to certain events and you bring your teams as you hope to and you're taught to and so forth, and you come to an event and then you bring your team, and this is where things can really unravel. You know, an event can really charge people and excite people, but an event can also, if it's not done in a way that is, we'll just say that is generic, if it's not done in a way that is, you know, you have to consider that there's all kinds of different people and there's all different ways to operate. There are people in relationship marketing, in network marketing as they call it, who literally are focused on the money. The money is their predominant focus and motivation. And you'll know because all you hear about is money all the time. That doesn't make them bad people. That's the way they operate. The problem we've got is if from the top down, it is basically shared in such a way that, you know, let's say that, for instance, you have you have 10,000 people in an audience, and now you have someone who's going to get on a stage, and the company has featured this, you know, this keynote speaker or this certified trainer. You know, this is the person that the company feels should train everybody. If they're going to dictate to that audience the way that they should be doing something, you know, they have to consider that that is not the way that a lot of the people in that audience are used to doing things, or what would appeal to them, or what their team leaders or what their organization would hope for them. Does this make sense? So with all of that said, we have to be careful. We have to be careful because events can be very beneficial. The energy, the camaraderie, all the wonderful, all the wonderful components about an event. But if an individual brings an entire organization, their team to this event, and all the work that they've been doing is undone. It's undone from, a trainer on a stage that has a particular way of doing things, and they teach that down the line. They teach that to the audience in such a way that it's like, this is the way you should do it. They don't even have to say that. If they're tip top, if they're really, really high up, they can just say, this is the way I do it. They can say it in a very confident way. And what it does psychologically for all the people in the audience is they wonder, oh, am I doing it wrong? See, because human nature is, we're just not that secure in what we're doing unless we're wildly successful at it, which takes time. So you've got a lot of vulnerable people in the audience, and they're a little unsure of themselves. They're a little unsure of their process. And then what happens is they get told, you have to do this. That gets confusing. They get told you have to market this particular product. That gets confusing. They get told, this is the right terminology. Again, confusing. This is the pack you should sell. Again, confusing. This is the way that you should teach people or introduce people to the opportunity. Again, it can cause a lot of confusion. And so there's a lot of people like me, we will leave events and we actually are, as if the event, the events actually do require a lot of emotional energy. But now we leave the event and we're thinking, oh dear, I have so much work to do. Damage control. It's damage control. I've got to go now to all these people, especially the new people who are so vulnerable and easily influenced, and I've got to tell them that is not the way that our team operates. That is not necessary. Even though you heard that as what you thought was like fact over here, you heard that as, this is scripture, if you will. No, not necessarily. There's lots of ways of doing this, and this is our preferred methodology. You understand? So with all of that in mind, I share all of this because there's so many things that come into play. And I just want to put it out there that you can do this the way you feel comfortable doing it. You can. And whether you feel comfortable leading with the products and the results, or whether you feel comfortable leading with the mission and the purpose and the cause, or whether you just feel comfortable, leading with the culture and the community, whether you feel comfortable leading with the money and the financial opportunity, what we do, there's ways of doing it all, but I have my way of doing things. I just have my way of doing things, and I think that that's within my rights. Is it not? It is. It's within my rights to do things my way. It's within your rights to do things your way, or whatever you're comfortable with. When you feel as though you can't effectively do it your way, you will shut down. And this is what I found with a lot of my team leaders is over time, they felt like the ability for them to do things their way, the way they prefer, which, is their methodology, which is in line with my methodology, because usually like attracts like. They're feeling like, what? This must not be a fit for me, because everything that I hear coming from the top is about selling these huge, massive, expensive packs, or everything that I hear coming from the top is all about chasing all these, the money game, if you will. And I don't say that in a derogatory way. I have no other way of putting it. The money game is when, the predominant focus on the front end when you talk to people is about the money. And you're talking about, hey, you can earn this much, and hey, you can earn that much, and hey, you can get this if you enroll this many people. And again, I don't want to mean it in a derogatory way, But for me personally, that doesn't fly for me. And so when anyone on the stage is going to train my people that their predominant focus should be on the money and certain, certain packs that are more expensive, and if the predominant focus is just going to be on, get your people paid, get your people paid, get your people paid, get your people paid. Ew, like, I'm sorry, but it doesn't work for me, and that's within my rights. And so I just hope, my hope is that from the tip top, companies need to start considering that. And I think that people like me have been afraid to say that. That's what I think. I think people like me, the companies get so big and powerful, and they have so much, money and clout, and you just sit there and you kind of let them do what they think. There's a real problem with that, because they need to know how you feel. They need to know how I feel. They need to know how all that makes me feel. They need to know that, teach your trainers to do things, to teach things in a way that is very, very much optional. Not, boom. And I would definitely, if you're a trainer out there, I was offered to be a corporate trainer way, way back, and I actually turned it down because I said, what does it entail? And it entailed a lot of travel. And so when I heard about all the travel I was going to have to do, you got to be at all these different things in these universities and all these, you got to be willing to get up and go and move around. And I would have had to hire a full-time nanny, or my wife would have been a single mom a lot of the times. And I just said no, politely. And I thought it was so nice of them to invite me to do it. I really appreciated it, that they offered that to me. And I actually formally turned it down. It would have been good for business had I done that? Probably, yeah. See, whenever the company puts people on the stage, they need to know that when they put someone on the stage, that's a big advantage for the person, for the individual. And that's why you want to mix it up. You want to make sure you're pulling trainers from lots of different teams, and you want to make sure you're keeping things equal. Because if you use the same preferred trainers over and over and over again, you're shining that great big spotlight on that trainer. And so everybody on social media, they see, oh, here's the 5 preferred trainers at the big event. So we're going to have 12,000 or 13,000 people, whatever it might be. And the event is blasted all over the place, which is great. But you know what? We have to consider that individual, or those 5 individuals that have their face on that billboard, if you will, they have that, their name is in the lights and the spotlight is on them. Huge advantage. Instant credibility. Now everyone in the audience, or everyone that sees those posts, or those replays, those lives and so forth, they're thinking, okay, this individual, they're the ones that know what they're talking about. This is who I should listen to. Not only that, people from other opportunities, they see that, and automatically they think, or they feel that, oh, there's the person I probably want to go partner up with, because certainly if the company, especially if the company is going to feature the same people over and over and over and over again and over and over and over and over and over, you got to balance that out. That's my opinion, is that you got to share that love. You got to share that spotlight, because there's so many talented people in the company. And I think we should be showing lots of diversity and variety. To me, that's what appeals to me. And ER Shred is demonstrating that we've got old, we've got young, we've got women, we've got men, all walks of life, all different colors. And that's been really exciting to see, because that diversity really does appeal to people, and it creates the right culture. Culture's everything in this industry. If you ever had someone someone told me yesterday, they actually told me they were sitting at an event, a big event with thousands of people, and this individual is watching everybody training on the stage, and they're watching all these presenters, and there's the appearance, the image, so to speak. And they turned to this other individual and they said, I don't fit in this company. I don't fit in because I don't look like that. And I don't talk like that. And that is not what I am. Now, that could have been that person's issue. Certainly, that could have been that person's issue. But, you know, you want to make sure that you're not bottling people up, because we're all independent contractors, right? So, like, the culture, in my opinion, should be, I mean, we should be featuring young, old, all different people, people that are veteran, people that are new, and lots of always passing that love around, keeping things equal amongst organizations and teams all over the country, all over the world. That's my belief. That's how I feel. And so with all of this in mind, does ER Shred have the ability to resurrect the dead? Well, certainly it does with the products. We've seen that big time. Like, we've seen people around the results, people, it's different. That's all I can tell you, is it is completely different. The results are completely different. That's all I can tell you. And you got to go look at we'll do a call tonight, for instance, the Come Alive call. Come and listen to some of these stories and testimonials. You'll see the results are completely different. Okay. Now you've got to ask yourself, can this potentially resurrect the dead in the opportunity? And it does. It just does. I've already seen it. I've already seen it so many times. Not a few. I've seen it dozens of times already. Dozens and dozens and dozens of times. People that they were once excited about the opportunity of sharing, their transformation with other people. And for whatever reason, all these different things combine and they feel out of touch, or they lose their gusto, or whatever, timing, everything. And all of a sudden, now they're back, and now they're excited, and now it's working again, and now they're sharing again, and now they're enrolling people again, and now they're generating income again. It's very, very exciting stuff. Okay. So I'm unabashed about what I do. Like, that's the one thing that I really feel, our network marketing company's perfect? No way. No way. And you guys will never see me doing the Kool-Aid thing where I get on and, oh my gosh, my company is the greatest there ever was, and we're better than all the others because of all these reasons. And I won't do it. You can't make me do it. And if I have to do that in order to participate, then I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. I refuse to do that. And if I won't share products that I don't like, and there are products in my own company that I do not like, and I am not afraid to say that. Okay, there are products in my own company that I prefer not to use and not to share, and that's within my right. And everybody should feel that they're empowered to operate within their own independent sphere. We're free agents, you see? And so with all of that in mind, I think what happened was, around the ER Shred, physically I came alive. Mentally I came alive. And then I started evaluating things in my life. And I thought, it's interesting. I really do want to make a difference. I really do want to help people. I really do. I want to be wildly successful. I want to be fit. I want to be well. I want to help other people be fit. I want to help other people be well. I want to inspire them. I want to give them their lives back. And I found a way that I can do that, and it works unbelievably well. Now, is it within my rights to do that my way? It is. It is. I've already had the support of the company pouring out upon me, because they know that. They know that, in fact, when I talked to Eric Hoover, he said specifically, he said, Sean, listen to me. If what you're doing is working, then we support that. Keep doing that. Of course, as long as you're not breaking any laws, or you're not violating any of our policies, procedures, you're not, any of that stuff. But he says, listen to me, you're the entrepreneur. And Eric's one of the owners of the company. He said, you are the entrepreneur, and it is our job as the corporate the corporate team's job, the corporate executive team. It's our job to rally around the entrepreneur when the entrepreneur finds things that are working and finds things that work. Well, that to me was music to my ears. So thank you for that, Eric. You probably won't watch this, but thank you for that, because to me, that tells me you understand the relationship between corporate and, you know, someone like me that's an independent contractor. You see, that we often talk about the base in terms of the foundation. What is corporate's role? What is the independent contractor's role? Well, corporate makes the products. They do all the R&D. Corporate, you know, they make the labels, they package the products, they ship the products. They actually, you know, they do a lot. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they do so much. They take all the nitty-gritty about your business. They take it off your hands and they do it all for you. And it's the most beautiful marriage when it's done right. When it's done right and there's a good mutual respect there, I'm telling you, it can be so unbelievably beautiful and powerful. Because someone like me, I don't want to go make products, and I don't want to go do all the manufacturing, and I don't want to do all the labeling, and I don't want to do all the R&D, and I don't want to do all the legal. I don't want to do everything around accounting even. I don't want to have all those employees. I think they have somewhere in the neighborhood of over 400 corporate employees. I don't want to babysit all those employees. I don't want to be responsible for all that. I don't want to have the big lease on the building with all the overhead. You know, I don't want to do it. I choose not to go do that. I could go do that. If I wanted to, I could go do that. My parents had those kinds of businesses my whole life. They had those kinds of businesses, brick and mortar. I don't want to go do it, okay? So what is my role? It's my role to, one, share my results, my story with my sphere of influence, and hopefully thereby attract customers to what I'm doing, and support those customers and hopefully get them, you know, as recurring customers, residual consumption of the products. It's also my job is to teach my customers the most effective ways to go there and thereby now go and share the same protocol, if you will, ER shred, to go share that with their potential, you know, customers, their sphere of influence. Now, this is all very elementary, but a lot of people don't even know just the foundational basics of it, okay? My job, I train my team how to do it. Why? Because that's what I do. That's what I'm good at. I've already proven that over and over and over again. I've proven I know what I'm doing, okay? It's not corporate's job to train my people how to do that, nor is it any other leaders per se. You could have leaders from other teams. You could have other leaders that operate totally different than I do. It's not their job to teach my team how to go and make that happen and share that forward. Again, probably common sense, but the problem is that arrangement or that dynamic oftentimes is not respected. And that's where we run into some problems. And that's where, you know, you start to have distributors that are frustrated because their people are being, you know, trained or inundated by another leader from a corporate stage. You know, it's different. If my people go seek out another leader and follow them, and they prefer their style, they prefer their methodology, they prefer their ideology, I'm okay with that, actually, believe it or not. I'm actually okay with that. If they go seek them out because, you know, hey, Sean's too product focused. Sean's too focused on, you know, the this, the that. You know, I want to focus on the business and the money and the financial opportunity. And if they go seek out a leader that is more, you know, geared towards all of that on the front end, that's fine. And I actually endorse or support my people to go do that because we're all different. But if it's dictated to them from the top, from a corporate stage, now, you know, yeah, I can't not have a problem with that. If it's dictated to my people, this is how you should be doing it. Let me give you an example of what that looks like. All right. So my daughter goes to a friend's house, and at that friend's house, the parent, if you will, the hierarchy or the patriarchy in that environment decides that to take it upon themselves to teach my child religious things. I got a problem with that. Do any of you guys have a problem with it? I actually do have a problem with that, because maybe it's not things, morals, values, spiritual, theology that I'm in line with. And if anything, I'm the mentor of my children. I brought them to the earth. I brought them to the table. They're mine. It's the same thing in your business. If you're the one who, directly or indirectly brought these people to the table, then it's within your rights to hope that you have that kind of respect. You have that kind of boundaries where I'm the one that teaches my people. I'm the one that trains them how to do things. I'm the one. And then the company comes in and they see what you're doing and they go, aha, it's working. This is working over here. And then, as Eric said, they rally around the entrepreneur and that team with the resources and the tools and the support that they need, not what other leaders think is right, or not what other, not what even corporate leaders or corporate trainers or think is right for your team. Okay. So again, for people that don't understand network marketing, this might be a little confusing, but to me, this is so critically important. It's so critically important, because what I had happen in my organization was I would get people going and I would get them excited and I would get them moving. I think it was Jim Coover who's often said that a confused mind stops. A confused mind stops. Well, the business model is supposed to be so simple. So simple. That's a critical factor. We'll call it 101. A confused mind stops. Therefore, simplicity is absolutely key. I mean, some of my people just became disenamored because they couldn't even understand things anymore. They're like, what is this LIA formula? What is this new component of the plan? What are these pools? I don't understand how they work. What are all these different ranks? And you know what? It confuses them. And then guess what they do at a subconscious level? They kind of start shutting down. Like Jim says, a confused mind stops. Correct? A confused mind stops. So in order to empower these people, which most people that are attracted to network marketing are very simple-minded people, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way either, because I actually view myself as a very simple-minded, down-to-earth person. And my team is full of simple-minded, down-to-earth people. People like that, they can, unfortunately, how would I say, they're vulnerable. They're vulnerable. They're vulnerable. So what I've done all these years is, whenever this kind of dynamic has taken place and I feel like, oh my gosh, my people, like, they're confused. They don't know what to do anymore. They don't know how to operate anymore. There's just so much stuff going around from other leaders and from the top. And instead of me, just standing tall and saying, no, that is not how we have to do things. No, we are not doing it that way. Instead of that, what I would do is I would just go completely quiet, crickets. And I just finally just kind of just threw my hands in the air and says, I can't, I don't know how I can, because you don't want to go against what other people are saying, because that doesn't look good. That never looks good. It's just, you look insecure, you look, like you're territorial or whatever. But I just again, I want to put it out there. We have a methodology We have an operating system. We have a way of doing things. And for me personally, it's highly, highly effective. Car's on. Highly, highly effective. Unbelievably effective in a roundabout way. So here's the good news. If you are in this, if you are already in this, then you can actually go back to all the people who you thought were dead, and you can actually say to them, hey, I mean, do it first. Do it. We got a huge group starting on January 4th. Huge group. There'll probably be an even bigger group starting the third week of January. And once you realize it, then you'll understand why Crystal and I we've signed up. I bet you we've signed up 60 people in 7-8 weeks. It's because the result is legitimate. The result is so legitimate, it's not even funny on ER Shred. And then you're hooked. You're hooked. You're like, I want to feel this great all the time. Simple stuff. I mean, I can actually go back now to all the old people, which I haven't even done, believe it or not, because I haven't had the time. I've been so busy just working with the new people, working with all the people that are seeing what we're doing and coming to us. I'm going to have the ability, or you will, to go back to all the people who you thought were dead and say, oh my gosh, boy, do I have something to share with you. Okay. And if you're well versed, you'll be able to overcome this whole misconception around, oh my gosh, the meat. I just posted a poll in the group and I said, honestly, I ate less meat on the ER Shred 11-day protocol than I would if I wasn't on the 11-day ER Shred protocol. That's the truth. And then I said, how many of you in this group, ER Shred, actually probably ate more meat when you weren't on the ER Shred, the 11-day, than when you were on it? And it's not even close. The majority of people are all admitting, you're right. If we're being honest, we ate more meat off the ER Shred than we did on it. So this whole misconception around the meat and all the politically charged, stuff around meat, which I just find absolutely hilarious. All the climate around that, the political climate, the agendas, you just gotta shake your head and just forget about all that. Because you'll be able to quickly dispel people's, they've got the wrong idea. Go back to all of them and say, whoa, have I found something, a better way? Whoa, have I found something that actually teaches lifestyle change through the elimination component? Whoa, have I really found something that it teaches your body how to leverage this nutrition even more so you actually feel it and your body's just thirsting for it, hungry for it, begging for it, and then it utilizes it. The culture, everything. You can go back and share that now, and you're going to be able to bring so many people back. It's really exciting. And same thing with people that you feel are just, that's for past customers. That's for past people that were operating in the business component. You go back to them and you say, whoa, wow, I just got to share with you. Got to put it out there. No pressure. I got to share with you that this is really working, and it's working for me. And I care about you, and I want to at least put it out there. No pressure. Just want to put it out there for you, make you aware of what it is, what we're seeing. Pretty special things are going to start happening for you. Pretty darn special things are going to start happening for you. You'll see. Just like they have for me. My motivation is back. My zeal, my zest, that's back. Everything that made me what I was, everything that got me where I got, it's all come full circle. But it's not just, I'm at a different level now. Like if you said, here's base, and if you said, at one point I was here and it brought me my success and it brought me to where I am, well, I'm telling you right now I am super, super, super charged. And the fact that the company is basically saying, hey, not our job to dictate to you how you should do things. Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you so much, because to me that is just music to my ears. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, because, you know, we have to be able to do things the way that we feel and the way that we, you know, feels natural and what comes innate to us. It's so important, because in this tight line of work, you're operating from the heart. You really are. When it's done most effectively, you're operating from the heart. That's why the industry as a whole attracts a lot of women. Not all women are heart-centered. There are women that just care about money and they're very shallow, and materialism and fame and recognition. There are those out there, and we do attract some of those to this industry. But by and large, the women do make up network marketing, and by and large, these women, they actually cannot share something unless it's absolutely working for them, and working for them on an ongoing basis. It's got to be serving them. They could have an emotional connection to it based on what happened years ago. They could still have an emotional connection to it, but they won't go out and share that forward if that feeling and that, you know, the magic, if you will, if it's not current, if it's not relevant in their life, they can't. They're frozen because they feel inauthentic. They're not motivated to do so. They feel hypocritical. You see what I'm saying? Again, I love to do these kinds of conversations because it gives people a bird's eye view of my experience, my training, my education, my vision, which, you know, I'm entitled to all that. And you're entitled to yours, and they're entitled to theirs, and they're entitled to theirs, and they're entitled to theirs. And what we need not do in this industry anymore, we can operate within our sphere how we want. What we need not do is to dictate to others, this is how you should operate as well. Okay? In religion, for instance, it's okay if a religion was to say, this is a way of doing it. This is a way of a set of beliefs. This works for us, and this works for this group of people. And as long as it's not hurting anybody, it's okay. No problem. Probably doing a lot of good. Probably necessary for a lot of people. But when any religion, and if all religions operated like that, think about it. If they all operated with that kind of, you know, theology, if you will, ideology, you know, tolerance. But when any religion says, no, it's this way or else, it's this way, period. We are right, period. That's not going to fly. It just doesn't work. You're going to get a lot of pushback. You're going to get a lot of hurt relationships. You're going to have intolerance going rampant all over the world, which has happened. Unfortunately, it's happened. Well, that kind of stuff happens even in my own company, where leaders are all, you know, they're all fighting against each other. I just want people to be united. So if your mantra is, if your MO is to do things this way, then you unite, and you all unite and you do it that way. If your methodology and your mantra, your way of operating is this way over here, then you all unite. You do that together that way, and you support your teams that way, and you grow it that way. But we don't have, you know, these people talking to these people over here. You have to do it this way. And these people over here, you have to do it this way. And then from the corporate stage, you have to do it this way. It's all got to be done away with. That stuff has got to stop, because it is so defeating. It is so counterproductive. It's not even funny. Why? Because, as Jim Coover always says, a confused mind stops. We've got to get down to a baseline with the body and with our nutrition. I don't know that it's healthy for people to take 50, 60 nutritional products all at once. I don't know. For me, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no to that, because I just am starting to realize the body appreciates simplicity as well. Okay? So I'm going to operate within that framework. But it's the same thing in a business sense. We have got to get to a space where we can operate from simplicity. Very, very simple.